Alright everybody, welcome back. It's time for part number 3 of my complete movie and DVD collection. Movie, Blu-ray and DVD collection right here on the CM42 TV Movie Journal. Don't know if you can notice, but this was a birthday present from my sister. It says CM42 TV on the top. The first piece of merchandise on sale nowhere. Right, here's part 3. This is the letters J through R of my movie collection. Make sure you check out parts 1 and part 2 right here. We're on the Movie Journal channel. Taking my time a little bit instead of doing like a rapid fire, this film, then this film, then this film. I'm trying to take my time and comment at least a little bit about every single film. So let's carry on. Let's start with the J's, or as we say here in Glasgow, the Jais. So first Jai film in my collection is Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown, an underrated Tarantino film, I think. I really like it. Everyone kind of overlooks this one, I think, anyway. I really like it. It's just an amazing cast, actually. And I mean, Tarantino's known for putting together these legendary casts. But this one was late 90s, where like movies were kind of in a weird place, where like everybody was kind of like intertwining with everybody. People were getting roles that you wouldn't expect them to get, and that kind of broke the stigma, you know, from then on. Now, anybody can play anything these days, but back in the late 90s, it was still a little bit sort of novel. So you got Pam Grier, Sam Jackson, Robert Forrester, Bridget Fonda, Michael Keaton, and Robert De Niro, all in the one film by Tarantino. It's a simple story, and sometimes they work just as well as a really kind of over-the-top, well-thought-out Tarantino plot. So, Jackie Brown, I love it. Okay, here we go. This is where we're going to take some time here, because this is the James Bond collection that I got for Christmas. Yes, Christmas 2020 and 21, and it's sat on the shelf ever since, and I've not touched it because I knew I was going to be doing like a Marvel watch through, a Batman watch through, and things like that. And I was like, I'm going to do the Bond ones when it comes an appropriate time to do so. I was kind of wanting to do it somewhat before No Time to Die. That's not going to happen because that's pretty much out this week, I think. But it's okay though. I can maybe when I see No Time to Die, it'll make me want to watch, you know, some more Bond films. There's 24 films in this set, right? I don't love the quality of this release. Like, this is already like bending at the front here. It's very like flimsy in paper. I kind of like the more sturdy sets, like the Alfred Hitchcock set, or the Star Wars set, or the Buster Keaton set, or things like that. I mean, the Harry Potter one I've got is a bit like this too, but it's actually better than this one. But out of all these 24 films, I've maybe seen like 4 or 5 of them, so that's really exciting. You know, to get all those films, those classic films that I've not seen. And James Bond is like a franchise that I've just never really dipped my toe into long enough. You know, obviously I've seen all of the Daniel Craig ones and Dr. No, and that's it. So I've never seen Goldfinger, never seen Diamonds Are Forever, never seen any of those ones. So here we go. The first one in here, 1962 through 1977, is very original cover art here. They could have did that a little bit better. Do you know what I mean? Come on. I like that on the back, just a simple list of the films, but they could have did something. If it was like by the Bond, so you know the way like on here, the actor who played them, it kind of like progresses. They could have did that like between these films, if it's like the first 2 or whatever, you know. They could have did that and put a picture of them on the front, but it's so, there's just no thought put into it at all. I like how it's just like the black and white, the black writing on the white background, but I mean, come on, you know. But I do like when they put all the discs in here. It looks ridiculous, doesn't it? It looks just like you've got this unbelievable set, but anyway, so in this one, it's best to do this lighting wise, like that. So we have Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball, You Only Live Twice, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Diamonds Are Forever, Live and Let Die, never seen Live and Let Die, The Man with the Golden Gun, and Spy Who Loved Me. That's all in that set. And then the next one, part 2, is 1979 through 2002. Let's go through these ones. Moonraker, For Your Eyes Only, Octopussy, A View to Kill, The Living Daylights, License to Kill, GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, The World Is Not Enough, and Die Another Day. Some of those films, like, although obviously you know about sort of Die Another Day, Live and Let Die, and things like that, but some of them, like, I've not even like seen clips from or pictures from, which is like A View to a Kill. Like, I've never, so it's going to be really interesting. And this is 2006 through 2015. I've seen all these ones, which is like, which is good. Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre. So hopefully at some point I'll get the No Time to Die Blu-ray if I enjoy the film. I'm going to have to. I can't have all these films and not have the new ones. So that's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to doing it. And yes, I guess I will do videos charting my journey through the James Bond films here on the Movie Journal. So let's go through the next lot here. Continue on with the J's. We have Jaws, my favourite film of all time, or at least one of them, you know, in rotation of those films that you always say, what is your favourite film? If someone asks me that, I either say Jaws or I say Star Wars. Sometimes it's easier to say Jaws though, just because you don't need to like explain like what Star Wars you like and why I like certain ones more than others, but Jaws is my favourite film of all time pretty much. It's probably the film I've watched the most in my life. Start to finish, still to this day, whenever Jaws is on, regardless of scene or part of the film, if it's just starting or if it's just ending, I'll watch it. It's the best. And here's Jaws 2, 3 and 4. I like all the Jaws films. I know a lot of people always roll their eyes at the kind of 3 and 4, even 2 some people don't like. I think 2 is really good, but I enjoy them all. It's something scary. It's just about the whole shark attack thing, the mystery of it, how you're supposed to like bond together to get around this kind of potentially life-threatening situation that people just don't cope with very well. Obviously, Jaws the Revenge is absolutely ridiculous. Jaws 3 was meant to be 3D, so that's ridiculous in its own right. But still, I always enjoy them. I mean, I'm more likely, to be fair, if any of the Jaws films are on, I'm going to watch them. The first one's obviously my favourite, but I'm more likely to watch the first one again. But if Jaws 4's on, Michael Caine's walking about, I'm not going to say no. Here's Kill Bill Volume 1 and Kill Bill Volume 2. This game's a 2-pack. When I first decided I'm going to start collecting movies on Blu-ray, this was one of the first purchases I ever made, and very happy to do so because I love these films. I kind of overlooked them though, because I like Pulp Fiction and Django and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and The Hateful Eight. I like all them a little bit more, so I kind of forget about them sometimes, but they're brilliant films, and I guess I could do a wee Tarantino watch through soon and kind of refresh my memory on them all and do a video series here on the channel. Here we have Knives Out. God, it's been a while since I've looked at the cover, and I mean, I don't know why, I just think that cover is amazing. It's been ages since I've seen that cover. Knives Out, Rian Johnson's film. I love Knives Out, one of my favourite films of the last 5 years. I did a whole podcast about it recently, earlier this year, when I showed my co-host of the Good Bit podcast, which will be making a comeback, hopefully in Zoom video form. But I'm still to have a wee sort of production meeting with Aaron. But yeah, it's just one of the best films of the last 5 years, one of my favourite ones anyway, and definitely one I'll always go back to. I just love Knives Out. So good. And I mean, I'm not going to say underrated because it does get a good write-up, but not a lot of people jump to it straight away, you know. Here's Knocked Up with, who's in this one? Seth Rogen and Katherine Heigl, Paul Rudd, Leslie Mann. I have enjoyed this film, right? And I have never finished this film. I don't know why. Like, I was watching it, I was enjoying it, and maybe I got a phone call, something else was happening, and I just never watched the last 25 minutes. But it's not as if I was like biting my nails, do you know what I mean? So, anyway, speaking of nail biters, La La Land. I adore La La Land. I know a lot of people kind of roll their eyes at it and don't love it as much, but it's just such a real film. It's relatable in some ways, yet it's like this thing that's just unbelievable, and just like it, as like an aspiring performer and actor, it's one of those things you kind of look towards, and it's like a dream, you know, a dream, but it's your reality. Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, never been the biggest fan of both of them. I like them both, but never rated them my favourites or whatever. But I think they're both brilliant in this film. Not seen it in a long time. Due a rewatch. Oh god, I love it. Great cinema experience too. Great, maybe it was the music, but great cinema experience for La La Land, which is awful to say in my accent. Here we have Lady Bird, absolutely brilliant film. I love this one. Saoirse Ronan, maybe my favourite actress. And I remember I was watching these films around the time of like the Oscars, I think. I think this one was like nominated in like 2018 or whatever, and I was like trying to catch up with a few I missed. So I watched that at home instead of the cinema because I missed this one in the cinema. And I remember watching it in this room and just loving it and falling in love with not only her character but the film. You know, I'm not a young woman going to university for the first time, but there's still something really innocent and relatable about that film to someone like me, which really hooked me. It's like, you don't need to be a certain person to enjoy that, like her message and the message of the film. It's a brilliant film, really well made too. So Lady Bird is awesome. Here we have Lost in Translation on DVD. This was something I talked about in a recent movie haul, where the nature of my collection, I know I mention this all the time, but just in case you're new, I don't have this massive collection that's like covering different walls of my house and stuff. It's a kind of small collection that is just supposed to be strict to my favourite movies of all time, or movies that I would say I really like and would happily watch again or whatever, right? Or really cool editions that I see that I like, or films that I've not seen before. However, I'm trying to get away from that. There's still a few films. I'm going to post that very soon, by the way, my current watch list of all the Blu-rays that I've not watched yet. I'm trying to get rid of that. I'm trying to make sure it is a collection of like CM42 TV approved, you know. Maybe they should get stickers. So yeah, so I also feel like it's really easy to go on Amazon and just find the film and complete the collection. There's something really wholesome and charming about going into a shop and finding the one you need, or finding one that you want and go, yes, that one definitely should be in the collection. And this happened in a charity shop recently. I went to the DVDs in the charity shop. We were in looking for books. I went to the DVDs, saw Lost in Translation, and it's not like this amazing film, but I really loved it and I really wanted it in my collection. Plus the DVD, this is early 2000s where DVDs were like the number one thing. So I love the nostalgia of this looking DVD. So yeah, Scarlett Johansson and Bill Murray. Also did a podcast about that earlier this year. Check it out on the main channel or wherever podcasts are found. The Good Bit Podcast, or just search my name. Here we go. The Man with No Name Trilogy. This was like a real spur of the moment decision. I was in HMV. I was just kind of randomly in the mood to watch some westerns. This was on sale for like a £5. I went perfect, bought it, never watched any of them, so I've never seen them. This is, what is this, a fistful of dollars for a few dollars more, and The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. I know The Good, the Bad and the Ugly is one of the greatest films ever made, and I've never seen it, so looking forward to getting to it eventually. I will do. Clint Eastwood trilogy. Here we have Manchester by the Sea. I absolutely loved this film when I saw it in the cinema. It broke me, and I was doing my degree at the time, my acting degree, and just seeing Casey Affleck's performance in this really inspired me. And I really wanted to get it on Blu-ray, so I got it at the time because I was like, when it first came out, I was like, what a brilliant film, great cinema experience, brilliant performances. But since getting it, I've never watched it. Yes, because it made me really sad, but also, like, I feel like now looking back, it's not like one that would really jump off the page that I had to own, but at the time I cared so much to own it, so I guess I'm happy to have it. I quite like the cover too, but maybe I'll watch it again soon. I'm not really in the mood to be sad though, but it is a brilliant film, and very well told, and very well acted, even though I know Casey Affleck isn't the most popular. Here we have Metropolis. I got this from the BFI in London, so I went down visiting my co-host of The Good Bit, Aaron, in London. The BFI was there, we had to go, and I was like, we're here, I need to buy something. And I'd heard lots about this film, about the kind of controversy behind it and stuff, and I believe this is like the version that was like restoring it to its original glory, and this really cool like sideways, you know, edition. And I was like, do you know what, I'm going to get it, because I've not watched it since. I've not watched it since I got it, but I just really like the edition. I like how it's sideways. I just think it's really cool. Fritz Lang. And it's one of those films that I don't know anything about, that I know has controversy and stuff, so hopefully I'll get my own opinion on that, and that is Masters of Cinema Edition 16, and it comes out like that. So that was Metropolis. I always get Metropolis and Magnolia mixed up. I bet they're so different, but just because of the M, I don't know. Right, let's carry on here. We're continuing on with the M's here. Here is Men in Black. Now this, what I was just talking about going into a shop and just finding one that you go, yes, that's definitely one for the collection. This happened with this in 2018, before I was like actively doing that. I started like the kind of like approved collection kind of mindset in like 2019 kind of time. But I remember I was actually on tour doing a show in 2018. We arrived back home, and I had some time to kill before coming home, and I just went into this random, it's not even in existence anymore, but there used to be a used movie shop in Glasgow called Missing, and it's not there anymore, but it was there for a while, and I went in, it was just, I mean, no organisation, everything is used, everything is cheap, just everywhere, right? You can hardly walk, there's a amount of, you know, used stuff in there, which is really weird because it's just round the corner from charity shops and CEX and things like that, but it was cool. And I remember I got a couple of Blu-rays out of there, just with that. It was like one of my most recent like paydays from my show I was doing, and I was like, I'm going to go buy some movies, and I saw Men in Black and was like, that's one I should own, before really having that mindset when it came to collecting. So I love Men in Black, and Men in Black, let's see, Men in Black the film was the #1 film at the box office in 1997, the summer of 1997 when I was born. So I kind of have like a soft spot towards it, I guess. And Will Smith, because his song Summertime, I believe, was also #1 in the charts, which is crazy. Alright, speaking of #1 in the charts and #1 in my hearts, didn't make any sense. Here is Moana, my favourite Disney film that I just watched for the 4th or 5th time the other night. I said back when it was snowing, back in February, I said I want to watch Moana, I've got an urge to watch Moana. And my sister was like, no, Moana's a summer film. Watch it in the summer. I went, right, okay. So I waited, wanted to watch it in the summer came and went and I didn't see it. So it's September, I know it's not the summer anymore, it's coming into the autumn time. I wanted to get it done before winter. And I watched it and it just solidified it and re-solidified it as my favourite Disney film. I love it. Not just because of The Rock, that's the reason I went to see it, that's because I have a soft spot, yes. But also the music, the story, the kind of, I don't know, just the way it looks and with all the sea and the beach and the tropical and, oh my god, I love Moana. It is my favourite Disney film. Oh man. Here we have Nacho Libre. Again, talked about this in my most recent movie haul on the main channel. But I was in the charity shop. I love Nacho Libre. I think it's hilarious. A really underrated comedy. Also with the wrestling thing, you know, the wrestling connection. Wink, wink. Yeah, what can you else say? I remember I went to see this in the cinema for my birthday party in 2006, right? No joke. I took me and like 7 friends to the cinema to see this 2006, and I was annoying all my friends because during the scenes where they were wrestling I was like commentating the moves. Apparently I had a bad effect on their cinema experience, and right now if that was happening to me I would be furious, but at the time I didn't mind. Here is The Naked City by Jules Dassin. I picked this up based on the cover. I thought it was all, I mean, I was in the mood to watch a classic film and buy a classic film and stuff, but my god, it just looks brilliant, doesn't it? It just looks so interesting. Talk about like a dated film that's made to look cool without being like overly updated and remastered. It's like, I don't know if that's the original poster or anything, but the way it's drawn on this cover for Arrow Academy, it's just so eye-catching, and I thought, I'm buying that. Also, it's heavy. I don't know if all the collectors know that, but or feel that with me as well. Like, you get 2 discs in a booklet, that's why it's heavy. But the fact that it was heavy, like, made me go, I'm probably going to get more out of this. Probably sounds ridiculous, but it's something that us collectors go through. So yeah, I watched it, I enjoyed it. I was like falling asleep, I was really tired at the time, so I think if I watched it again I would enjoy it more. But yeah, just if you're ever in the mood for a classic film, sometimes going for something like that is really good. Same with this one, the Sidney Lumet film, Network. I watched this for the first time on my phone on Netflix, and that's not the way to watch a film. The best way to watch a film is in the cinema, or at least on a big screen. So when Arrow Academy brought out this edition, I really liked the cover. And I kind of wanted to be a bit more of a collector, you know, so I went and bought Network, and I really like it. It's a good film. Here we have No Country for Old Men. I said for a long time this is one of my favourite films of all time. Not seen it in a while. Not that I wouldn't say it's one of my favourite films of all time anymore, but I obviously like other films more now because I've seen more and stuff, but every time I watch it I really, really like it, and Javier Bardem's character is just so interesting and so, you can't take your eyes off him, but it's a really good film and I'll watch it every so often and really enjoy it. Here's Nocturnal Animals, another one of those films where I saw in the cinema, loved it, and was like, I'm buying that as soon as it came out. Would I get it now? Maybe. I've not seen it in a long time, I really like it. Jake Gyllenhaal is probably my favourite actor. Amy Adams is good too. Yeah, I really like it. It's a really good film. A good like modern thriller, you know what I mean? That would kind of be overlooked but still stands out, I guess. I don't know. That's a good one. I better hurry up here because I only have 26 minutes at a time to film. Not that it matters. Right, Non-Stop, Liam Neeson. This is one of those ones where I really enjoyed it when I saw it, but wasn't fussed about getting it. But then it was in Poundland. And I was like, man, I think next time if I have like a clear out, this could be on the chopping block. But I really like it. And I talked about the new Liam Neeson film, The Ice Road, here on the movie channel. And it's like just that. It's like just fun, non-stop fun. Way up. Boom, roasted. Mentioned it earlier on, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Will you look at that cover? Oh my god, it's beautiful. I just love it. My number 2 or 3 favourite film, I think number 3 favourite film of 2019, saw it in London, in a Cineworld on day of release. The cinema was packed and was buzzing full of weird Tarantino fans like myself. And then the day after it, I did an episode of The Good Bit with Aaron. and we ranked Tarantino's films. I believe that came like number 1 on Aaron's list. But it's my third favourite Tarantino film, right behind Pulp Fiction and The Hateful Eight. Planes, Trains and Automobiles, I know it's not a Christmas film, but I treat it as a Christmas film. I watch it every Christmas. I mean, it's like a holiday film, right? Amazing. I love the relationship between Steve Martin and John Candy. It's just the best. I can't wait to watch it again this holiday season. Here's a recent pickup. The Pink Panther collection, the Peter Sellers collection. Now, the next one on the video was the Steve Martin one, and I love it. I love, and these are more classic and better made films, but I find this one absolutely hilarious. I can't stop laughing from the start to finish of this film. I just don't stop laughing, but I love the Peter Sellers ones as well. So, and just the Pink Panther story, like even since I was a wee boy, like with the cartoon and stuff, I always went into the character and stuff, so happy to get that. Pleasantville, an underrated film, so overlooked. It is a brilliant film, so well made. Tobey Maguire, Jeff Daniels, Reese Witherspoon, William H. Macy, J.T. Walsh, don't know who that is, Joan Allen. Brilliant film. So I used to be like in a kind of film, no, well, it was actually when I was studying film theory when I was at college, and sometimes they'd show us films that I'd never heard of before, and this was one of them. And I just was like, how have I never heard about this before? Considering the fact that it's Tobey Maguire and Reese Witherspoon, like 2 huge actors, you know? So I thought that was crazy. Last wee bundle here for this edition. Already mentioned it, Pulp Fiction, my favourite Tarantino film. Again, when I do my kind of Tarantino watch through very soon on the Movie Journal, I'll talk about Pulp Fiction a little bit in more detail, but never gets old, can watch it in any order and still enjoy it. That's always interesting. But yeah, in that poster, I had a guy who used to live in there, doesn't live there anymore, but a couple of doors away from me, used to have that poster on his living room wall. And this guy was like in his 40s, and I used to go in, like, I used to be friends with his son or whatever, and I used to go in when I was really young for dinner or whatever, and I always used to look at that poster in the living room and be like, what is that poster? And obviously I didn't know at the time, but it was the Pulp Fiction poster, so that was interesting. Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction's first film, Tarantino's first film. I really like Reservoir Dogs. I believe I watched this after Pulp Fiction, so I didn't like it as much, but it's really good. It's really easy to watch too, because it's not too long, and it was like the start of him like gathering these amazing casts, you know, so I love Reservoir Dogs. I'd love to see the theatre show. I know they've done that a couple of times. Here is Rocky, the Undisputed Collection. I fell in love even more with these films in 2020, because when the cinemas reopened for that brief month or so in the summer of 2020, I went to see Rocky, and it was the last film I saw before they shut down again. And God, man, like, it's so good to see in the big screen, and then I just watched them all in this collection, because like, I bought this in like CEX years ago and never watched them. I'd seen them when I was younger, but in terms of like watching them all through, I just hadn't done it. So seeing the first one in the cinema and then going through them all, I just loved it. And Rocky 3 is the best one. But yeah, I'll do that again. I'll make that a yearly thing. I like them that much. Can't believe that was a year ago I did that though. Oh my god. The Royal Tenenbaums on Criterion. I am a big Wes Anderson fan. I really enjoy his films. His films are so stylistic though, sometimes you can't watch too many at once, and you kind of need to be in the mood. So when I was in the mood and I watched the Royal Tenenbaums, I really enjoyed it. But I know if I was really itching to watch a Wes Anderson film again, usually I go to Grand Budapest. I watched that one earlier this year for the third or fourth time in my life, but this would be the next one I go to, because I really liked it and I've only seen it once, so I want to get better at I want to enjoy it more. But also earlier on, I believe like part 1 or 2, I talked about Bottle Rocket. It'll be part 1. Never seen that one. I've got it on Blu-ray, so that's maybe my next one actually to watch. And last but not least, the Rush Hour trilogy. I said earlier on, Jaws and Star Wars are my 2 favourite films. Rush Hour might be number 3. I just love these films. I've grown up on them. I've watched them as I've went through drama school. I watch them now. Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. It is like great filmmaking and great film fighting mixed with like modern American comedies. It's like just this perfect balance for someone like me, the type of films I like. That's not too overthought but still good at the heart of it, and a great story, and as I said, great action, great fighting scenes. Of course, I'm a big Jackie Chan fan, and this is like why I kind of fell in love with him. And look at this artwork as well. Such an underrated release, and such underrated films. Brett Ratner, who I know is cancelled, but still, Yeah, brilliant stuff. But that's it. That is part number 3. Tune in for part number 4, which will be our final part of my complete DVD and Blu-ray collection here on the CM42 TV Movie Journal. Thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you all in part 4.